Hi guys, welcome to my Communications 200A public speaking class. This week we're in week 2. Okay, so we want to go over some of the assignments that we'll be talking about for week 2, some of the objectives and some of the lessons. So after this lesson, week 2, you're going to be able to identify common reasons for speech anxiety, utilize some more techniques to reduce anxiety before giving a speech, explain how to analyze and use information to adapt your audience. So another aspect I like to talk with my students is always to analyze their audience first, because you're going to adapt your speech depending on what audience you're giving your speech to. So obviously if you're going to be giving a speech to grade schoolers, your language will change and the way that you deliver your speech will change. Depending on if you give a speech to your colleagues, then that language will change. Last week we talked a bit about anxiety and some of the symptoms that we feel when we're anxious. So some of those symptoms that we feel when we're anxious perhaps our hearts beat fast, or perhaps we get dry mouth, or maybe we stutter. Sometimes my students have a habit of dancing around when they get up on stage because they're just so nervous to get up on stage. I had mentioned before some ways to overcome anxiety, to picture the audience. Always think positive, because your audience wants you to succeed. They want you to do well. And so always go into delivering that speech with a positive attitude, with a positive mindset. Some other suggestions that I suggest for my students to do, to take deep calming breaths beforehand, not so much where you want to hyperventilate and pass out, but so much where you feel calm and relaxed when you're giving your speech. Additionally, last week when we talked about some ways to overcome anxiety, we talked about being very confident in the first 30 seconds of your speech and going over that first 30 seconds of your speech several different times, because the first 30 seconds of your speech you will be the most nervous and you will be the most anxious. Okay, so that pretty much covers it for week 2. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to email me at aproctor.iau or at iau.la. Thank you so much.